The automotive lighting industry has a dirty little secret. It doesn't want you finding these brands. Because the moment you do, you stop paying 3 times the price for a name printed on a box. 7 brands. Real tests. Real numbers. And every single one costs less than a fast food meal for 2. Let's start with something that probably lives in your car right now, or will soon. Halogen bulbs. The yellowish, dim, factory-installed kind that came with your vehicle and slowly gets worse over time without you even noticing. You get used to it. The road ahead looks a little darker. The signs take a little longer to register. You figure it's just how your car is. It's not how your car is. It's what your headlights became after years of degradation, and what the major brands are counting on you not questioning. Here's the thing about the headlight bulb market. Walk into AutoZone, look at what's on the shelf, and you're going to see the same names you've seen your whole life. Sylvania, Philips, Osram. These aren't bad products. Some of them are genuinely good. But the shelf placement, the marketing budgets, the sponsored best of lists that dominate the first 3 pages of search results, all of it creates a wall. A wall that keeps 7 other brands almost completely invisible to the average driver. And those brands? Independent tests run by BulbFacts, one of the few outlets that actually measures lux output, beam pattern geometry, and thermal stability in a controlled environment, have found that several of these ignored names outperform their famous counterparts in real-world driving conditions. Not in theory, not in a press release, in actual lux readings at 25 feet. So why doesn't anyone talk about them? Because they don't pay to be talked about. No end caps at the auto parts store. No banner ads. No influencer deals. They just make bulbs. And apparently, for a lot of them, that's been enough because the numbers don't lie. But before we get into the list, and brand number 3 is going to surprise you, because it's been hiding in plain sight on Amazon for years with over 40,000 reviews and almost no mainstream recognition. There's something you need to understand about how this market works. Lumen claims on packaging are not regulated the way you think they are. That 100,000 lumens figure printed on a box you've seen on Amazon, it's not measured the way your phone camera measures light. It's often a theoretical chip output figure, measured at the emitter before heat loss, before reflector scatter, before any of the real-world physics that happen inside your actual headlight housing. GTR Lighting, one of the brands in this list, built their entire reputation specifically because they refuse to do this. Their rated output looks modest compared to competitors. Their actual road performance consistently beats them. That distinction, what's printed versus what reaches the road, is the whole story. Brand number 1 isn't flashy. No celebrity endorsements. No Super Bowl ads. Just a company called Fahren that showed up on Amazon about a decade ago and quietly refused to leave the top of the charts. BulbFacts tested the Fahren For Sure series against multiple premium competitors. Low beam output, 894 lux at 25 feet, nearly 5 times the output of a standard 55W halogen. High beam, 1,651 lux. What made the difference wasn't raw power. It was chip design. Fahren uses a 6-diode cluster that concentrates light from a smaller surface area, mimicking how a halogen filament actually works inside your reflector housing. Most budget LEDs scatter. Fahren focuses, and on a dark 2-lane road at 60 miles an hour, focused beats scattered every time. Price range, $25 to $45. Plug and play. No modifications needed. Brand number 2 is Cougar Motor, and this one has a devoted following among truck owners that mainstream automotive media never fully acknowledged. Founded in California in 2006, Cougar Motor built around aluminum housings and their turbo-cool fan system. In BulbFacts testing, low beam output hit 986 lux at 25 feet, edging out Fahren on that metric. Color temperature, 5,500 K, closer to true white than the blue-tinted 6,500 K that many competitors produce. Why does that matter for you? Because cooler, bluer light scatters more aggressively in rain and fog. It looks great in a parking lot photo. On a wet highway at night, it works against you. The 5,500K range is what lighting engineers actually recommend for adverse conditions. Aircraft-grade aluminum housing. 50,000-hour lifespan. Price, $20 to $40. Brand number 3. This is the one. OXILAM. Over 40,000 reviews across Amazon product lines. A community of Silverado, Camry, and Jeep Grand Cherokee owners who talk about these bulbs the way other people talk about their mechanics. An independent Lux test pitted OXITO's HB3/9005 against GTR Lighting's Ultra 2, a bulb that retails at more than double the price. The results stopped the tester mid-summary. OXITO measured 4,560 lux. GTR Ultra 2 measured 4,145 lux. The cheaper bulb won. Their Y19 series puts out 6,000 honest lumens per bulb. The 2025 upgraded lineup runs 32,000 lumens per set. Installation under 10 minutes on most vehicles. Price: $18 to $35. Almost no one outside enthusiast circles knows this brand exists. But brand number 4 has a story that's a little harder to explain and considerably harder to ignore. OXILAM. The name sounds like a pharmaceutical. The performance doesn't. What OXILAM figured out is beam pattern geometry. Anyone can claim high lumens. Thousands of Amazon listings do it daily with numbers disconnected from what actually hits the road. OXILAM's Q6 series focuses on 1:1 chip placement, LED elements positioned in near-perfect alignment with where a halogen filament would sit. That matters more than lumen count. When the chip sits even a few millimeters off position inside the housing, your reflector throws light in the wrong direction. Glare at oncoming drivers. Dark spots in your own field of view. A bulb that measures bright in a lab and performs mediocre on your actual street. OXILAM's H11 and 9005 lines deliver 17,000 lumens per pair. IP68 waterproof. CAN bus error-free on most modern vehicles. Price: $15 to $30, some of the lowest on this entire list. Brand number 5 is where things get practically interesting. Torchbeam, specifically the T2 combo pack. Most vehicles using separate high and low beam bulbs require 2 different sizes. You buy one set, install it, realize your high beams are still dim, go back online, order again, wait again, pay again. Torchbeam built the T2 pack to solve exactly that. 4 bulbs, 9,005 high beam and H11 low beam, in one purchase at a price that undercuts buying 2 separate sets from any comparable brand. 90,000 lumens combined. 2,000-foot lighting range. 60,000 hour rated lifespan. Complete lighting upgrade. Both beams, for roughly what you'd pay for a single shelf brand set. If you want to keep discovering what's really happening in the auto parts market, brands that outperform at a fraction of the price, subscribe. Because the next 2 brands are the part most drivers never reach. Brand number 6 made a different bet entirely. Lasfit. While every other brand here competes on price, Lasfit competed on engineering. Their LS Plus series, 12 oversized 66 by 66 mil LED chips, 65 watts, 6,500 lumens per individual bulb, not per pair. Independent testing named the Lasfit LS Plus the number 1 H11 LED bulb on the market. Above GTR Lighting, above Philips, above brands with decades of automotive history. The cooling system is what makes longevity possible. Dual heat pipes, 15,000 revolutions per minute ball-bearing fan. External driver that removes heat generation from inside the housing entirely. Luminous efficiency, 100 to 110 lumens per watt. Most competing aftermarket LEDs land between 60 and 80. Price: $35 to $55. The most expensive brand on this list. Also, by independent measurement, the brightest. One brand left, and it's the one that changes how you think about all the others. Diode Dynamics. Every other brand on this list found a way to make good bulbs affordable. Diode Dynamics did something harder. They made you understand exactly what you're buying and why it works. Founded by engineers who were genuinely frustrated with the opacity of aftermarket lighting claims, Diode Dynamics built their SL1 and SL2 series around what they call multi-die automotive emitters. MDA technology. It's not a marketing term. It's a chip architecture that distributes light across multiple die points instead of concentrating everything into a single high heat source. The result is higher luminous efficacy, lower thermal stress per emitter, and a beam pattern that independent testers consistently describe as OEM level. Fully integrated design. No external drivers. No dangling harness. The bulb installs like a factory unit and throws light like one too. They also publish their actual measurement methodology. Not a marketing sheet. A technical document explaining how output numbers were calculated, under what conditions, at what thermal state. In an industry where 100,000 lumens gets printed on packaging by brands that couldn't define the term under oath, that kind of transparency is not small. Price, $50 to $80. The premium end of this list. Worth it for drivers who want to buy once and never think about it again. So here's where you actually are right now. 7 brands. Real measurements. Prices that range from $15 to $80. And not one of them has a presence on the shelf at your local auto parts store that reflects what the independent data says about their performance. That's not an accident. Shelf space is negotiated, not earned. The brands you see at a level paid to be there through co-op advertising agreements, distribution deals, promotional fees that get built into the price you pay at the register. The brands on this list didn't play that game. Some couldn't afford to. Others chose not to. Either way, your headlights don't care about marketing budgets. Here's a quick test before your next purchase. Pull up any LED headlight listing and find the lumen claim. Then search the brand name plus Lux Test or Bulb Facts. If independent measurement data exists, compare it to the packaging number. The gap between those two figures will tell you more about a brand's honesty than any review section ever could. And if no independent data exists at all, that's your answer. The road ahead of your car is only as visible as the light you point at it. Not the light printed on a box. Not the lumens claimed in a listing title. The actual photons exiting your actual housing on your actual street at night. Fahren, Cougar Motor, AUXITO, OXILAM, Torchbeam, Lasfit, Diode Dynamics. 7 brands that the shelf never showed you. 7 gold mines that the market buried under names with bigger advertising budgets and smaller real-world results. Now you know where to look.